and money.
Hello, I'm Jay Wright, and welcome to another edition of Inside Villanova Basketball. We're coming to you from the historical Palestra right here on Penn's campus in Philadelphia, and it's a great opportunity for our guys to get a taste of Philadelphia, and most importantly, a real feel for the history of Philadelphia basketball. We learned a lot about all of the great players and teams and coaches that have been here. And then, of course, to play in a sold-out Palestra with all the Penn Quaker fans in here against an outstanding Penn team is always a challenge. But it allows us to be a part of the Big Five and what Philadelphia basketball is all about.
It's a landmark, an 88-year-old building which embodies the history of Philadelphia basketball. The Palestra has been home to some of the game's great players, both local and national. And at one time, it was also the Big Five home of the Wildcats, in an era when it seemed all of the electricity from college basketball in Philly was focused on one place.
I think it was the most exciting place in the city at the time. The Palestra was where everybody would come and watch basketball. And basketball was like the greatest sport of all. And there was a lot of rivalries. There were a lot of rivalries, particularly with St. Joe and Villanova. So it was all of that and the excitement of the crowds watching us perform and trying to win those big games. It was quite an arena.
The memories of that gym is phenomenal for Philadelphia. For any arena where you play around the country, Palestra is the place. And I'd come back. Over the 20 years I scout for the Miami Heat, I come back and scout and would just walk around and feel the energy and see the pictures of the old ball players that played in. It's just memories, great memories.
Great play. Exclamation point. Savvy of a veteran team.
The current team worked out at the Palestra the day before the matchup with Penn.
Good job, Dylan! Tonight. Good, no foul! Hey, now look, we gotta be physical enough to take away the back cut and get over that screen. If they make that pass, that's on the guy on the ball. That's the guy on the ball is not pressuring the ball. So you should have denied. But he didn't, he fell asleep. But if you would have been loading, you would have just seen him right there. You take him, say, I got ball, then he gets your man. So you didn't see the ball. You didn't see your man. You were staring at the ball. That's why we got beat. Jay, that's something that you can do that most people can't do. So don't feel like it's too simple. You know what I'm saying? There's no people who are strong enough to do that. And then you elevate it over the guy. That's why you got to score in there. That's great play. Good, fake. Good, now get back. Good, now go again. Go again. Get back. Yes! Great job! Let's keep getting better. 1, 2, 3, attitude. Good job, good concentration.
When the work was through, it was time for a walking tour of Philadelphia's Basketball Museum.
Randy in here, Kerry Kittles. That's Coach Mass. That's Eddie Pinckney, right? Dwayne McClain, the guy that is on the far right, and Gary McClain. That's Howard Porter. That's Coach Kraft, who just passed away, right? We have JK. On our shirts. This guy, Jimmy Washington in Atlanta, he was a great pro, too, for Atlanta Hawks. He stays in touch, but we don't get to see him a lot. Hubie White's in Philadelphia. He comes around a lot. He was a great player.
You know, these guys, they never remembered the old school Big Five battles and rivalries that, that I grew up on, watching games at the Palestra and watching guys like Kerry Kittles play against, the great Temple teams and the great LaSalle teams and the great teams that Penn and St. Joe's had in the past. When we get a chance to go back down to the Palestra and play Penn, it's just good for those guys to get a look around and the history and the tradition of playing Big Five games in the Palestra.
See, that's why we do the streamers. It started here. If you made it to the district final, like now those games are at Villanova, they used to be here. So the big thing in Philadelphia was get to the Palestra. It was like, that's what we used to all say at the beginning of the season, let's get to the Palestra.
Ultimately, it was about the game. That night, the Wildcats were seeking a perfect Big Five and non-conference record for the season.
You walk in there and, you know, it doesn't look like much. It's old school. But then, you know, once you're 10 minutes before the game and the crowd starts to come in, you always feel that buzz in the arena. You know, the people are right there on top of you. You make a big shot, the crowd goes wild. It's a great place to play.
That's working around the perimeter. Arcidiacono, right wing, swish on the 17-footer. Ochefu starting to back down. Spins, turns, off the glass, counted, and he's fouled.
When this ball comes middle, we want to flood those corners. This guy's facing up. Look, that forward's going under the rim right here. We're looking under the rim. And the guard up top can go on either side of him to give him a pass.
Hilliard trying to go to Ochefu with the low blocks. Finds a cutting Ennis for the easy left-handed layup. And now Ochefu off the dish from Ennis. The Wildcats have won a Big Five championship tonight at the storied Palestra in Philadelphia and finished with a perfect 13-0 record in their non-conference play, and now 17-1 on the season as Villanova wins it 62-47.
Your plan.